everyone, and welcome to NASCAR's Fantasy Fastlane Show. I'm Jessica Ruffin here with NBC Sports' Steve Letarte. Last time at Martinsville, Clint Boyer came away with the win and the grandfather clock, but he was only owned by 31% of fantasy users. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that Clint Boyer was somewhat of a surprise winner. Even though Stewart-Haas Racing has been so good this year, I'm not sure everyone thought Clint Boyer could run good, although I think we did. Last week.
We picked him.
That's it. And, you know, congratulations to Clint Boyer. I'm sure he's still partying somewhere. If you're ever going to win before an off weekend. And congratulations to that 31%. That was a big move. I'm sure it moved him up the rankings.
Well, we know that dark horse picks are very important in this game, but so are our must picks. So looking into Texas, who are you looking to definitely include in your lineup?
Well, any good week, you have to have some cornerstone picks to your lineup. So when I'm heading to Texas, there's really no surprise to my must picks. The 78 of Martin Truex Jr. and the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Their numbers are outstanding. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just know this. Every mile-and-a-half track, one of those two go to victory lane. I would expect the same at Texas. I'm going to have them both in my lineup. My concern, though, is A, I'm running out of starts with these two drivers, but B, if they have an issue, Jessica, you have to get them out of your lineup in that second stage, and you can only get one out. So you got to watch, pay attention. You might need a garage driver.
Well, I was going to ask you about their usage because both of those guys are owned by nearly half of fantasy users. So if you're in a hole, if you're having trouble in your fantasy right now, do you take those guys out and go against the grain, do something different?
Well, I think strategy is really what's going to come into play this point in the season. When I look at my race team, I'm starting to be a little concerned with some of my usage. When I look at the 4 of Kevin Harvick, the 78 of Martin Truex Jr., I'm going to start saving them for all the high-speed tracks. I think there's less risk involved. There's less chance of an accident versus a short track. So that's my strategy. But if you're trying to gain points, starting the same driver everybody else does doesn't do you any good. If I'm outside the top, say 50% of my league, I'm going completely off the rails, trying to find drivers that may surprise, maybe 4 or 5 surprise drivers. That could be the week that moves you up the rankings.
Well, and that's where your sleeper picks come in. We know those are so important. So for your sleeper picks at Texas, who are you looking at?
Well, I don't think you can go to Texas without picking Ryan Blaney. I know that might not be a sleeper pick. His performance last year on this newly shaped racetrack was dominant. He started second, ran well in both stages, won both stages, but that choice to win the second stage put him a little behind. Then he slid through his pit stop. That was the only thing that really cost him the win. So Ryan Blaney has to be in my lineup. And the other sleeper pick, Erik Jones. I know he has yet to win a race, but it's coming. Joe Gibbs Racing cars look better week in and week out. I know that he hasn't quite proven himself, but remember, he got his first ever Xfinity win at Texas. Perhaps he can get his first ever Cup win there too.
Well, and he's only owned by less than 20% of fantasy users, so certainly if you are in a hole, it's somebody you can use to do something different, as we alluded to. Now we want to do a little bit of rapid fire. I'm going to give you a name. Give me a yes or a no if you want to play him.
This is stressful.
Ready?
Yep. All right, let me see. We're going to go off the gut. I don't have time for stats.
No,
so let me
no
see
stats.
what you got. Okay.
All right, Chase Elliott.
Yes, best Hendrick car week in and week out, I would have him in.
Jimmy Johnson.
No, because Chase Elliott's consistently run in front of him. His run at Martinsville was not good enough. I still don't think the 48 has it together.
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson is a must start in my mind. If you're not going to have Kevin Harvick or Martin Truex because of starting lineup issues, I would have the 42 of Larson.
Daniel Suarez.
Nope, I have Daniel Suarez as the 4th best Gibbs car. I don't think he's as good as his 3 teammates. I have him still sitting the bench.
Last one, Aric Amirola.
Aric Amirola, I want to say no, but he's proven me wrong every race this year. So I think if you continue to ride that hot hand, continue to ride that hot streak, put Aric Amirola in, maybe that is the secret to move you up.
Well, drivers like Aric Amirola, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney did test at Texas in January. Do you put any extra stock in the drivers that tested?
Well, testing is always an advantage, but it was all the way back in January. I mean, a lot's changed with their setups just in a few months. The one advantage they may have is, remember, this is only the 3rd race of this newly shaped Texas racetrack, so any information is good. But the big advantage is that they got to run on the new Goodyear tire. Goodyear's bringing a new left side tire. That can change your setup dramatically, so that might give them a little head start in the weekend. But remember, Jessica, they all have teammates, so those notes will be shared with everyone. I'm not sure the test is a huge advantage.
We will see you at Texas this weekend. Be sure you guys set your lineup, tune in all weekend long, and tweet Steve and I with any questions or comments you guys have regarding all things fantasy. And be sure to tune in 2 p.m. on FS1 for the race.